Unable to demonstrate the courage demanded by the sword-like weapon Blaster Blade, he walked a road to hell powered by his amplified negative emotions. His hatred is aimed at the person called Blaster Blade, who could use the weapon he was unable to activate, causing him to take up the mantle of Blaster Dark, and under the guide of the Dragon of Hell, he plans to end things with his fated rival. A warrior of the Shadow Knights which broke off from the regular army. He once had obsession and a strong hatred towards Blaster Blade, but they reconciled through a duel during the war. In order to stop the Dragon of Hell, who had revealed its true nature and thrown the entirety of Cray into chaos, he temporarily entrusted his sword, which can be said to be his life, to Blaster Blade. As a result, his role in the war became the decisive factor in awakening the Vanguard, and thus was secretly regarded as a hero. After the war, he tried to rebuild the Shadow Paladin, and worked hard to deter any wrongdoings of his fellow clansmen. Because his power is the key to awakening the ultimate Vanguard, he is therefore feared by the mysterious force, and thus was sealed away in another dimension. Controlling and winding up the negative emotions of those who were formerly Paladins, Phantom Blaster Dragon is the terrorist ringleader who founded the Shadow Paladins. Despair, jealousy, fear, and the like. In fact, every negative emotion can be altered as his power. It disregards its comrades as mere tools for its schemes, so that when it has no more use for them nor use for their powers, they become nothing more than its next meal. During the darkness beyond even light, the blades of shadow erosion pour into the target like a stream of bullets, and when it's done, it feeds on the leftovers of the light. As the despair of the United Sanctuary grew, the great powers of darkness took on the shape of the Dragon of Hell, Phantom Blaster Dragon. Its true form's complete mystery to all, but it was actually one of the ancient guardian dragons that had protected and watched over United Sanctuary from time immemorable. Because of this long history, it was able to see into the hearts of thousands upon tens of thousands of people. What it saw warped its soul, and it is said that it threw himself into a deep and dark abyss that reached into the netherworld. The Guardian's fate has now become to destroy everything that stands before it. All that remains in its heart is an unending, ceaseless maelstrom of despair. The spirit body of Blaster Dark, which was exposed by refining only his will and power. This is the form that manifested from his persistence. He will not stay docile without fighting and have to wait for the young warriors to come to his rescue. He curb stomps the enemy forces at the same time he manifests himself in the material world, and supported the front lines of the overmatched Gold Paladins. Because moving about while in his spiritual state is accompanied with a very high risk, he shouldn't even be added into the ranks in his current state. Even so, he still heads out to the front lines. Whether this is to overlook the progress of the battle, or to liquefy his past errors, it is yet to be cleared in his heart. However, his appearance of boldly confronting the enemy, not fearing the fact that even the slightest scratch will spell the end of him, has engraved the resolution as a fighter in the hearts of the young warriors. The hero of the shadows who was a key to awakening the ultimate vanguard with Blaster Blade, he is one of the knights of the unofficial Black Knight Shadow Paladin. Sensing the evil ambitions of the invaders that were quickly approaching planet Cray, he established the Revengers, a team specializing in repelling the invaders, making Mordred their leader while he took up the position of the group's right-hand man, and started acting by investigating the trends and movements of the invaders. He doesn't expect praise, honor, glory, or anything trivial like that. All he cares about is fighting for his homeland that has been exposed to one crisis after another. And in order to make sure that he never repeats his mistakes again, Knight of Resolve walks down the path that lies before him. The knight who leads the Revengers, a group of warriors who vow to protect the sanctuary from the clutches of the invaders. Immediately after the civilian war had ended, this mysterious knight appeared from nowhere. It was clear that he worked behind the scenes to rescue the heroes. However, he worked alone, without being accompanied by anyone, and his motive was unknown. Moreover, according to the testimony of the elves around the nation, none have heard about a knight with the name Mordred before. It was Blaster Dark who made him the leader of the Revengers, but given that they had almost never exchanged words, the reason for why Blaster Dark trusted him so much was not revealed. The mysterious Black Knight of Illusions bears the title of Phantom. None has yet understood his true motivations from his shimmering scarlet pupils. It is the true form of the mysterious Mordred Phantom. It was Phantom Blaster Dragon, the Abyss Dragon, who had invaded the Sanctuary. Though its body and mind were obliterated by the Vanguard, the two spirits within it, the Holy Spirit of the Guardian Dragon and the Malice of the Abyss Dragon, were reincarnated into two beings. In the world which is being filled with despair, the dragon gained its body by absorbing negative emotions into the remains of its malice. However, its soul of light wandered this world until it was approached by several injured knights. As they were both disappearing and had mutual interests, they fused together. The light gained a new body while the knight gained a new soul. He had forgotten his past emotions and ceased to regret his faults. He is the Knight of Shadow with the soul of light and the power of darkness. He is the guardian of light who accepts his own darkness. To prevent the destruction of the world, I shall become the shadow of this sanctuary forever. As Drag Ruler Phantom comes from the same entity as Gust Blaster Dragon, his karma is tied to the Black Dragon's malice. To right the wrongs of his other half, Drag Ruler Phantom left the Shadow Paladin, appointing Blaster Dark as the new Grandmaster. He is Blaster Dark in the world of altered history, and he is the Grandmaster of the Shadow Paladin. At the end of the Civil War, he receives a curse-like ritual in order to save Phantom Blaster Dragon from the brink of death. The ritual connects their souls and enforces permanent sharing of vital force and mana. He should have been influenced heavily by the disappearance of Blaster Blade because of their rivalry relationship. Nevertheless, there is not a bit of change in his will of protecting their sanctuary, possibly a result of his firm resolution. It is Phantom Blaster Dragon in the world of altered history. Defeated in battle, it was nothing more than a dissipating mass of mana. It was only saved by Blaster Dark. As their souls have been connected since that moment, they can read the outer minds of each other. Its form was unchanged, but its mind returned to the noble one it possessed before. This is why it is fully aware that it should never return to the side of light. It was regretful for dragging its benefactor to bear the same karma as itself. He is Blaster Dark who has succeeded Mordred as the Grandmaster of the Shadow Paladins. He has adjusted the emotion-powered armament to his need and can unleash greater power than before. His battle style could terrify even demons, and people start to call the weapon Diablo, which has become a synonym of the swordsman himself. The trust toward him is fading away, and division awaits the Knightly Order. The mind of Blaster Dark is disturbed not only by the pressure of being Grandmaster, but also by the disappearance of the great being Mordred. Now, he must re-examine the path he ought to proceed and the oath he had sworn. His growth shall be one of the keys to open the future of the Knightly Order. It is one of the possible futures of Phantom Blaster Dragon who surpassed time and space, and called to the current era. The dragon equipped Diablo, which was a formidable weapon adjusted by Blaster Dark, and armor with the same power. His strength is remarkable, even among the heroes called from the past, future, and other dimensions, and he managed to corner the rampaging, rain-cloud-calling, nine-headed Dragon King that appeared in Oracle think tank until it couldn't fight back. Is he the Black Dragon, the culprit who caused a certain series of incidents? Who summoned him to this current era? No one knows the answer for now. When another Black Dragon shows himself, the truth of Shadow Paladin shall be revealed.